Hey nerds, so going to talk about Jordan Peterson, one of my favorite people to criticize, of course, famous pseudo-intellectual crackpot and former clinical psychologist, and he's talking to Alex O'Connor, my favorite philosophy YouTuber, or one of them anyway, and he's basically just getting Jordan Peterson's opinion that is basically arrogant opinion that Richard Dawkins, the militant atheist, of course, is an evolutionary biologist, doesn't know what he's talking about in terms of biology versus religious symbolism, because essentially he doesn't understand Jungian psychology, aka psychology in the term of Carl Jung, the Jungian archetypes, that sort of thing. Of course, there's nothing at all scientific about Jungian archetypes, and they certainly don't. They certainly don't trump religious, like they certainly don't trump biological science, and he knows that. Their Jungian psychology hasn't been borne out in peer-reviewed and replicated scientific studies at all. This is all like metaphorical. And yes, you can. Well, he's going to get into it more, but that's basically the gist of his opinion there.
Why is it that when you sit down with Richard Dawkins, you find it difficult to have a conversation with each other?
Well, I think it's partly because we don't know each other very well. And also,
look at him, that's one of his Joker suits.
I'm the court jester, I am will embrace it.
There are things he knows that I don't know, and there are things I know that he doesn't know. Now, I would say in my...
Do you really think that? Because according to what he's about to say, it doesn't seem like Jordan Peterson really acknowledges Richard Dawkins's expertise on biology and the fact that he's made some major discoveries like the selfish gene, for example, and he's written multiple books communicating those. He hasn't done like more scientific studies in decades probably, but he's obviously way more knowledgeable about evolutionary biology than Jordan Peterson, which he doesn't really seem to be fully admitting here.
Defense that what would you say? I'm more of aware of the things he knows that I don't know than he is of the things I know that he doesn't know.
Okay, see that? So he knows. I'm going to go through that again because he's making it unnecessarily complex.
Right. So, for example, as far as things he knows that I don't know than he is, that what would you say? I'm more of aware of the things he knows that I don't know than he.
Where things that he knows that I don't. So he's more aware of the things that Dawkins knows that Peterson doesn't know than Dawkins is aware of the things that Peterson knows he doesn't know. But do you see the arrogance here? Like he knows more. He's more aware of what he is unaware of, and what Richard Dawkins is aware of. He's more aware of what one of them is aware of than the other one is, and he knows he understands Dawkins that way, and Dawkins doesn't understand him that way. Do you see the fucking arrogance here? Like, here's how
he is of the things I know that he doesn't know.
He doesn't know as many things about the things that I know that he doesn't know. So he doesn't know, but basically in a nutshell, he is not as aware of Jordan Peterson's ignorance as Jordan Peterson is of Richard Dawkins' ignorance, which is a roundabout way of saying that
I'm Jordan Peterson, I'm smarter than Richard Dawkins. Let's make this express this message in an unnecessarily verbose way so I seem really intelligent.
Right. So, for example, as far as I can tell, Dawkins doesn't know anything about the Jungian tradition of literary interpretation. If you're going to talk about...
Oh, nothing. Yeah. Everyone's heard of that. Like, not everyone, but most people have heard of Jungian literary interpretation. And you can talk all day as much as you want about Jungian literary interpretation. That's fascinating. I really enjoy it. But there's nothing scientific about it. And then their debate, they were essentially having this stupid, boring, age-old science versus religion argument. And Jordan Peterson's arguing for the religion side, and Dawkins is arguing for the science side. But, obviously it's a lot more complex than that. But he literally is about to make a really stupid argument, which is the type of argument that he made in their longer debate, which you should definitely check out, which is that religion is more true than science because religious myths are truer than true can possibly be. Like, he doesn't understand this term transcendental, but he kind of believes that truth is transcendental, but in a religious way, like everyone believes in God, which is really fucking stupid.
Religion, that's actually a fatal flaw.
Mhm.
And, he's called me, for example, drunk on symbols.
You
Fatal
love
thing about the Jungian tradition of literary interpretation.
It's so the fact that Dawkins
doesn't understand Jungian literary interpretation means that he's dumb. And it's his fatal flaw. It's his fatal flaw from understanding biology that he doesn't understand Jungian literary interpretation.
If you're going to talk about religion, that's actually a fatal flaw.
Mhm.
And, he's called me, for
Don't
example.
talk about religion without understanding Jungian literary analysis, man. You just can't do it. All of those people who talk about religion around the world, they don't know what they're talking about. Oh, yeah, I do. And all the Jungians, even though a lot of people disagree with Jungian psychology. But I'm so smart.
look at him constipatedly trying to have a thought.
Example, drunk on symbols.
You love symbols.
Yes.
You're
Yes.
obsessed with symbols.
Yes,
You're almost drunk on symbols.
you could say that.
It's like, well, the imagination is a biological function and it has a structure and a purpose.
Imagination is drunk, man.
And it has its own logos, its own intelligence.
Oh, logos. That's the word I like to always mention. Logos, logos, logos. Logos. Logos? Oh no. What happened to the logos?
Anyway, he's talking about logos as usual. Oh, there it is. I don't know why I just closed that tab.
Intelligible
Yes.
order. And if you're not aware of that order, that doesn't make me drunk on symbols. It just means you don't know what you're talking about.
Why is it that when you sit down with Richard Dawkins, you find it difficult to have a conversation with each other?
Well, I think it's partly because,
Right, we're gonna go back to that part for a sec.
and it has its own logos, its own intelligible
Yes.
order. And if you're not aware of that order, that doesn't make me drunk on symbols. It just means you don't know what you're talking about.
Why is it that when you
Oh, see, Richard Dawkins doesn't understand the logos. Therefore, he's wrong and I'm right, and religion is right and science is wrong. And I understand biological science better than him because I understand Jungian literary interpretation. Yes, I'm Jordan Peterson. Okay.
What an idiot. Anyway, I don't think that Richard Dawkins is that smart in terms of biology versus religion arguments either, because he's too much of a militant atheist and a materialist. But Jordan Peterson is just off his fucking rocker, man. He said that, what was it? Oh yeah, they were talking about the biology of dragons at one point in their debate.
No, I'm serious. There's this book on the biology of dragons. You should read it, man.
What a fucking idiot. People think that he's smart, even though he's really fucking stupid. This is the specious argument that he makes that I'm going to steal, man. His specious argument is that Jordan Peterson, no, he's talking about himself. Jordan Peterson's specious argument is that
Richard Dawkins doesn't know what he's talking about because you can't talk about religion without understanding Jungian literary analysis. Therefore, he's wrong about religion, and I'm right that religion is more true than true because you have to understand the logos, and that shows that religion is biologically true, some science. Both modern neo-Marxists.